TOEFL! Before we start, don't forget to like and subscribe. Good luck!
Please read through the directions or skip ahead. Passage number 1. Listen to a conversation between two students on campus.
Hey Tracy, how's it going? Ready for next semester?
I'm trying to be, but scheduling classes is tougher than I expected. A few of the courses I wanted are already full.
Really? I've had the same problem. I tried registering for that advanced literature class, but it hit capacity on the first day of enrollment.
Yeah, that's one of the classes I wanted too. Now I'm stuck looking for an alternative. I might have to take something completely different, like a history elective.
That could still work for your requirements, right?
Sort of. I need another humanities course, and history would count. But it's not really my first choice. What about you? Did you manage to get into your core classes?
Most of them. I got my math requirement out of the way last semester, so that freed up a slot. But I still need a lab science, and the biology sections are all at awkward times, like 8 a.m. or late in the afternoon.
I know how that goes. Sometimes you just have to pick a less ideal time. Have you tried checking the newly added sections? Sometimes the department opens more seats or adds an extra section when courses fill up.
Good idea. I did hear a rumor that they might add another biology lab on Tuesdays. If that happens, it would fit my schedule perfectly.
Exactly. Keep checking your student portal. Also, don't forget that you can email the professor or department head. Sometimes they'll let you into a class if you're close to graduation or if you really need it.
True, I'm not graduating this year, but it's still worth a shot. If I can't get into biology, I might just shuffle my schedule around and take physics instead. Not my favorite option, but at least it fulfills the lab requirement.
Yeah, it's all about being flexible. I guess we both have some refreshing to do on our portals. Maybe we can help each other watch for open spots.
That's a plan. Let's keep in touch. If I see something for the literature class, I'll let you know, and you can do the same for biology. Deal?
Deal. Thanks, Carl. Good luck with everything.
You too, Tracy.
What is the main topic of the conversation? Which class did both Carl and Tracy fail to enroll in because it was already full? What advice does Tracy give Carl about potentially finding an open section for his lab requirement? What does Carl plan to do if he cannot enroll in biology? What is Tracy's attitude toward taking a history elective? Passage number 2. Listen to part of a talk in a biology class.
So, as I mentioned earlier, many desert organisms display remarkable features that help them survive in harsh environments with extreme heat and limited water. Desert plants, like cacti, have evolved specialized structures, such as thick, waxy skins that reduce water loss. They also possess spines or hair-like structures that shade the plant's surface, lowering temperature and preventing excessive evaporation. In animals, behavioral and physiological adaptations are equally important. For example, many small desert mammals are nocturnal. By being active at night, they avoid the scorching daytime heat and conserve water. Some reptiles can tolerate high body temperatures and have scales that minimize water loss. And certain birds, such as desert finches, have specialized beaks that help them extract moisture from seeds or other food sources.
Professor, I've heard that certain desert insects actually get their water from dew or fog. Is that right?
Great question, Marcia. Yes, some insects, like the Namib desert beetle, use structures on their exoskeletons to collect moisture from fog. They position their bodies in ways that let tiny droplets condense and then flow into their mouths. This is a perfect example of how desert animals utilize even the smallest sources of moisture. Returning to our main topic, these adaptations allow desert species not just to survive but to thrive in conditions that seem impossible. By lowering water loss, tolerating extreme temperatures, and altering their active times to avoid the heat, desert organisms demonstrate the power of evolution under environmental stress.
What is the lecture mainly about? According to the professor, why are many desert mammals active at night? What example does the professor give regarding insect adaptations? Which three of the following are adaptations mentioned in the lecture that help desert organisms survive? What does the professor imply when she says this?
These adaptations allow desert species not just to survive, but to thrive.
Passage number 3. Listen to part of a lecture in an arts class.
Now, let's focus on some of the distinctive features of Gothic architecture, which emerged in the 12th century in France. One of the most recognizable elements is the pointed arch. Unlike the rounded arches of Romanesque architecture, pointed arches allowed for greater height and weight distribution. This feature gave Gothic buildings their towering, almost ethereal quality. Another key feature is the ribbed vault. These rib-like structures supported the ceilings while reducing the weight of the walls. Combined with pointed arches, ribbed vaults allowed architects to design taller and more open interiors. This was a dramatic shift from the heavy, solid walls of earlier styles. Of course, we can't forget flying buttresses, which are external supports that transfer the weight of the building outward and downward. This ingenious design made it possible to include large stained glass windows. These windows often depicted biblical stories and bathed the interiors in colorful light, creating a sense of divine presence. Finally, let's talk about ornamentation. Gothic cathedrals were adorned with intricate carvings, including gargoyles. These carvings weren't just decorative, they often served practical purposes. Gargoyles, for instance, were designed to channel rainwater away from the building, protecting it from water damage. In summary, the combination of pointed arches, ribbed vaults, flying buttresses, and elaborate ornamentation gave Gothic architecture its signature style. Together, these innovations created structures that seemed to reach toward the heavens, embodying the spiritual aspirations of the time.
What is the main purpose of the lecture? What is one advantage of pointed arches in Gothic architecture? Why were flying buttresses important in Gothic architecture? What practical purpose did gargoyles serve in Gothic architecture? What are two reasons Gothic cathedrals were able to be taller than earlier styles? What does the lecturer imply about the stained glass windows? Passage number 4. Listen to a conversation between two students on campus.
Hey Kim, do you have a minute? I wanted to talk about something that's been bothering me lately.
Sure, Marley, what's up?
It's about the campus shuttle service. I've been having a really hard time getting to class on time lately because the shuttles are always late. I don't know if it's the traffic or what, but it's been really frustrating.
I totally get that. I've noticed the same issue. Sometimes the shuttles take forever to show up, and when they do, they're overcrowded. Have you tried biking to class instead? I've been doing that for a couple of weeks now.
I thought about it, but I'm not sure it's the best solution for me. The campus is huge, and I'm worried about biking in the rain or when it's too hot. Plus, there are those long hills around the science building that seem like they'd be exhausting to bike up.
Yeah, the hills are definitely a challenge. But I've been using the bike racks near the dorms, and it's actually been faster than taking the shuttle. I don't have to wait around for a shuttle, and I don't have to deal with all the people crowding the shuttle either.
That's true. But do you think it's safer to bike around here? The roads can be pretty busy, and I'm worried about getting hit by a car.
That's a good point. I do wear a helmet and stick to the bike lanes as much as possible, but I also noticed that there's a new bike safety program on campus. They're offering free bike safety classes for students, which might help you feel more confident.
That sounds interesting. Maybe I'll check it out. But I was also thinking about bringing this up to the student government. If enough people complain about the shuttle service, maybe they can do something to improve it.
That's a great idea. Maybe they can increase the number of shuttles or adjust the schedule during peak hours. If enough students voice their concerns, they might take action.
Exactly. I'm going to start a petition, and I'll see if I can get more students to sign it. It might not solve all the problems, but it's worth trying.
I like that plan. Good luck with the petition, Marley.
Thanks, Kim. I'll let you know how it goes.
What is Marley concerned about in the conversation? What solution did Kim suggest to Marley? What issue does Marley have with biking to class? Which of the following is true about the new bike safety program mentioned by Kim? What are two possible ways Marley could address the shuttle problem? Passage number 5. Listen to a conversation between a student and a professor.
Professor Johnson, I wanted to ask for some clarification on the assignment you gave us last week. I'm a little unsure about how to structure my paper and how detailed my analysis should be.
Of course, Carol. The assignment is focused on analyzing the impacts of social media on communication in modern society. You'll want to start by providing an introduction to the topic. Give some background information on social media's role in communication, and then present your thesis statement. which should outline the main points you'll discuss.
Okay, that makes sense. Should I include personal opinions or should I only focus on academic sources?
It's important to base your analysis on academic sources. However, you can include your personal perspective as long as it's backed up by evidence from these sources. The key is to show critical thinking and to support your arguments with research. Be sure to reference your sources properly. This will help strengthen your paper.
Got it. And for the body of the paper, should I just focus on one aspect of social media or should I explore multiple angles?
It's up to you, but I recommend addressing at least two different aspects of social media's impact. For example, you could discuss how it affects relationships and communication in the workplace and in personal settings. By examining multiple perspectives, you'll show a more well-rounded understanding of the topic.
That helps a lot. One more thing. What about the conclusion? Should I just summarize my points?
Good question. The conclusion should summarize your main points, but it's also important to offer some reflection. Think about the broader implications of your analysis. How might your findings affect how we think about social media and communication in the future? A strong conclusion should tie everything together and leave the reader with something to think about.
Thank you, Professor Johnson. This has been really helpful.
You're welcome, Carol. I look forward to reading your paper. Just remember to focus on the structure and clarity of your arguments. Take your time, and if you have any more questions, don't hesitate to ask.
What is the main topic of Carol's assignment? According to Professor Johnson, what is essential to include in the introduction of the paper? What should Carol do if she wants to include personal opinions in her paper? What does Professor Johnson suggest about the body of Carol's paper? What does Professor Johnson recommend Carol include in the conclusion of her paper? What are two things Carol should focus on in her paper according to Professor Johnson?
This is your answer key for passages 1 through 5. Remember to focus on the main ideas and tone of the lecture. Understanding the speaker's perspective will help you choose the right answers. Take notes on key details and listen for any changes in topic. These cues will guide you through each question and improve your overall score. And don't forget to level up!